Hey everyone, it's 7:47 in the evening, Pacific Standard Time. Just want to talk about some things I've been thinking about lately. When you start to transition, I think there's kind of this myth or conception that, once you're on T for a while and passing all the time, and you have your surgery, that everything is just fine. It's hunky-dory, it's great, and you never encounter any more problems. But really, that's not the case at all. And this myth is held both by cisgender people and trans people. Like, cisgender people seem to think like, you go through this sex change machine type thing, and you come out and, you've had all the surgeries and you're a fully functioning man or woman or, whatever. Then trans people kind of get the idea like, once I grow facial hair, all my problems will be solved, and, I don't know, if I could only get my mom to call me he, it'll be okay. And those things definitely help. But it gets hard when you get to kind of middle or late transition, because then maybe transitioning, there's a lot of things you didn't think about. It's harder than you expected. It didn't give you everything you wanted. You kind of like, okay, that's kind of a hard thing to talk about. To have gone through this all, to advocate for yourself in your workplace, school, within your family, your friends, other relationships, whatever, and then to feel like, ooh, I'm not totally 100% happy. And that's okay. I think that's another thing, besides the whole myth of, everything is fine, that once you get to this stage, this kind of post-transition stage, that we don't talk about how it can be kind of hard sometimes, or how you can still get dysphoria, or how sometimes it's hard being seen as male, in a world that expects men to be jerks, and they have to fit a certain stereotype of masculinity. So, I found out after being read as male for a while and navigating the world as male that, I was so different from all the masculine stereotypes I'd grown up around and had kind of almost held myself to. And then when I moved out to San Francisco, it was just like a whole different way of being. So I kind of got to expand that and, found my place as a guy, and not just, instead of just worrying about my gender identity and the fact that it was male and, working on passing and everything I could to be Charles, it became like, what kind of guy am I? So, I didn't mean to get off on that tangent, but I think later in transition, we think like, we're supposed to be happy, and if I have a bad day, there's something wrong with me, and if I feel like I'm missing something, or if I'm upset about my family or my past, or, just the funds you need to transition, and just feeling down about it, that's okay. And I think post-transition guys are afraid to kind of be like, I'm not feeling so great about it. And I just want to encourage people to be able to talk about it. Just to be able to say like, actually I'm 7 years on T and I still have a good amount of dysphoria. I'm not saying I do, but it does come every now and then. But I have friends that are many years post-transition and they still are dealing with body issues every day. And I think that's important for people who are just starting out to know, because I don't want them to think like, they start testosterone, they get their surgery, and everything is great. It definitely improves your life 100 times over, but it is not the solution. If you have problems before transition, you'll carry them into that. And, your gender will be right, and then you will still have all these other things you have to work through. And I'm not excluded from that. I've got lots of things I'm working through all the time. So, and it is nice not to have that. I navigate the world as male, and people don't question my gender, but now that I'm, walking through the world as male, it's a total different experience, and that can be rough, just like approaching women is different, friendships with guys, just things, that I didn't have to deal with before. Suddenly I'm on the other side of the coin, and it's really interesting, and it can be a lot. It's a lot to do this. I'm 28 years old, and I started transitioning when I was 20. So, coming up on 7 years post-top surgery and 8 years on T, so that is crazy. And, in some ways, it's just like this experience has changed me so much. And in other ways, it's like, this is who I've always been. So, it's like, the trans thing affects me so much, and then at other times it just integrates into who I am, and that's just part of who I am. And that probably doesn't make any sense, but hope you all are well, and have a good, safe weekend. Take care. Peace.